Alright lads, so the Inheritance Trials has been out for a few days and I just want to showcase some of the runs that I was doing with my lads and also talk about the game mode one time and give you some tips. Now in the coming days I will be making multiple videos, probably 5 videos, going over some of the best characters to use for each day to make the most out of this, because as you all know, unfortunately, you only can do one run, which is very disappointing, and you can only run this quest for 2 hours every 3 hours, right? So it's here for 2 hours, disappears for free, and then comes back for 2 hours. You can check in-game what times they do appear for you, and this basically means that you want to get a team together if you can and clear very, very fast. And what you're seeing right now is some world record attempts of us trying to clear very, very fast. Now, do keep in mind, the run that we were doing, we only literally just started doing it in that session where we only had 2 hours to start experimenting. So these runs are definitely going to be approved upon. You're probably going to see a new video, potentially even today, of someone clearing faster than us. I'm not claiming this to be the world record, but I'm saying attempts, right? Not to be too clickbaity. So let's talk about the strategy that we were going into this quest, and there's something that you can maybe adopt when actually doing your runs. Firstly, if you are, as always, going with a group of friends, you want to make sure that the person that is hosting has at least a 5 out of 5 character. What that means, because the host doesn't have any co-op lag, they can nuke multiple waves, and what we chose to do, instead of nuking the final room like most people are, we chose to nuke the second room. Shout out to Zan for that idea. The reason why we chose to do this is because the bosses in this co-op game mode, and also in single player, they don't have the Iron Skin ability, meaning that they are pretty much going to be dying very, very quick to maybe 1 or 2 strong attacks, unlike some of these mobs. So the mobs are actually tankier. So we chose to nuke the second room, and if I get into the right position with a 5 out of 5 Byakuya, with also Attention Tie, it one-shots that entire room, saving us around 30 seconds because there's a lot of waves that spawn in that room. So that's one of the key things to clearing very, very fast. Just doing that alone, even with messing up strong attack placement in the other room, we can still clear in under like a minute and 30 seconds. Another thing is the supports. The Byakuya is mainly going to be your main DPS, right? Even though he doesn't affect any status limits, if you have him 5-5, he's going to be hitting very, very hard, especially if you have Tenjiro and or Thousand Year Blood or Ishin in your team. Those two characters can buff Byakuya's strong attack damage by 20%, and that does stack. So Byakuya, originally having a 40% Berserker, can now basically have around an 80% Berserker. It is actually a tad bit higher than that because of the way the damage is calculated, but that's the general idea. And Tenjiro can also flash step faster, get into the extra rooms if you do want to clear even more faster, right? We're trying to push seconds here, so every little difference does actually count. Now, one thing to also keep in mind with the runs that we were doing, none of our characters were invested in the new link slot system. So our characters were max transcended 10, 10, 10. Once we get into 20, 20, 20, or even 15, 15, 15, we're going to be doing more damage and we're going to clear a lot faster. So that's something to keep in mind too. In the future, maybe 2 weeks from now, people are going to be beating this easily under a minute, probably ourselves included, right? We were only able to get like a 1 minute and 7 second clear time, but that was the general idea of what we were trying to do with this team. Now, also, because we did use our soul bombs on pretty much most of the bosses, I chose to nuke the second room instead of the final boss. The idea of what we were doing for the final room is that I was going to pull down my notifications, and doing this while changing to the next room will allow me to flash step when I'm not supposed to. So I'm essentially able to spawn right in front of the bosses, use my strong attacks in combination of Tor using his soul bomb. We were able to clear this last room in like 2 seconds. Essentially like I was nuking the room even though I wasn't, because I didn't have any soul bomb activated. So those are the general ideas of what we were doing to speed clear this run. You know, we were getting around 1 minute clear times very consistently, 107, 115, and that allowed us to farm a lot of pots. And that's very important in this game mode, right? As you know, you only have 2 hours to beat this, so clearing fast as possible is very important to make sure that you can get as much pots as possible. I do want to mention as well that the extra rooms do actually pause your timer, and it does allow you to get your strong attacks back. So had we been given an extra room too, we probably could have shaved off a few seconds. So we're definitely pushing for the sub 1 minute. I think like a lot of people are. Maybe someone's already done that. Shout out to them if they have. But this is the runs that we were able to do just to showcase to you lads what a team, you know, if you get 4 people together, know what they're doing, you can clear very, very quick. Now that being said, what I'm going to be doing in the future, probably starting from maybe even tomorrow, I'm going to be making 5 different videos on each attribute, talking about some of the best characters to use, some of the strategies and tips to actually beat this week, and it should hopefully help you lads out. Now, that's basically the video talking about the runs, but what I do want to talk about is some of the good things from this update. So I mainly want to mention this at the end of the video for the lads that did stick around, because as you know, around 2 days ago when this update did drop, I made a video pretty much ranting about this new update. I think it's very, very terrible what Caleb have done. I still think that, but I do want to mention some positives about the new Inheritance Trials. This right here is hands down probably one of the more fun pieces of content in the game. Originally, I didn't like the fact that I have to play at a certain time. I have to play when they tell me to. I can't just play whenever. That does suck, but I'm kind of getting used to it, and it's perfectly fine. What I still have a problem with is the fact that there's no 5 times runs. If there was, this update would have been perfectly fine. I really don't care about anything else. We really need 5 times run because it's just making us spend 12 hours plus to max one character, and I personally think 5 years into the game, almost 6, that's absolutely ridiculous. We should have 5 times runs at a minimum. So hopefully with the backlash that KLab have been getting, they can reconsider that, but I'm really not holding out for it. KLab rarely do ever listen to their player base. But I do want to mention the fact that this difficulty, I think, is actually really well balanced in how KLab have done it. So essentially, the enemies take less damage. You all know that. They take less damage because of the iron skin, so that means you want to bring characters with status augments. But that doesn't mean you're forced to bring characters with status augments. As you saw in the runs that we were doing, 1 minute clear time, I'm using Byakuya, I'm doing a lot of damage. So I really do like that. So essentially, what it does do, it encourages you to bring max transcended characters, and if you have someone that's max transcended with no status augments, that's perfectly fine, you can use them. If you don't have a max transcended character, what you can do is bring someone that can inflict status augments, making it easy for you too. So I think it's a really well balanced system. The enemies are tanky, they encourage you to use max transcended characters, but they also don't force you to use that, so you can use whoever you want, even if the character's 1-5, as long as they can inflict status augments. Bonus points if they have the increased chance to do so, to make your life a lot easier. So props to KLab. The difficulty, I think, is very balanced. I think it's fun. I haven't been worn out just yet, but what will be killing this game mode for me is the fact that there's no 5 times runs. I've been running multiple hours, you know, with my guild, clearing very quick, as you saw right there, and I barely have enough to even, Links or barely anyone, I have enough to do 15, 15, 15 on 2 characters, so I just don't think it's worth the grind. Like, it's fun, I'm enjoying it, but how long will I be enjoying this game mode, right? Because it's going to get to a point where I just can't be bothered because I'm getting so little pots. Even after getting 1 minute clear times, I'm going to get tired of this game mode very, very soon. So I really do hope KLab actually listen to their player base and just add 5 times runs. If they do that, this game mode is perfect and I would have no flaws with it. But as it stands right now, there's no 5 times runs, but the difficulty is challenging, it's fun, it's engaging, and I think that's a good thing. And that's something not a lot of people are talking about. They're just complaining about the time zones, they're complaining about the no 5 times runs, and those are valid complaints, don't get me wrong. But there are a few good things from this update, and the difficulty is definitely one of them. I really do like it. But that being said, lads, this was just a ramble video because there's nothing to upload today. We will have the in-game news tomorrow about the upcoming banner. I probably got the prediction wrong. We'll find out tomorrow, right? They actually did mention the KJS live stream that Shinji was pretty much confirmed. It was very obvious that was him, and they said that themselves. They didn't say it was Shinji, but they basically confirmed it. And then they also said that one of them is a trap. You're meant to think it's someone, but it's not. So what I actually think is that the third character, how we're all thinking it's Soifon, I don't think it's actually her. But we'll have to wait and see exactly who the characters are. I'm excited either way. That will be getting announced tomorrow morning, so get excited for that. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the video though, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Let's go.